Bay Area news coverage starts right now. This is the 10 o'clock news on KTVU Channel 2.
Inspecting the damage at Oakland's historic City Hall, what Mayor Jean Quan now wants a judge to do after last night's Occupy rally turned violent. Good evening, everyone. I'm Heather Holmes.
And I'm Ken Wayne. They're picking up the pieces in downtown Oakland tonight, 24 hours after Occupy protesters and police clashed, and after some demonstrators vandalized the inside of Oakland City Hall. Both sides are assessing the outcome. KTVU's Christian Cafton reports.
It's a pretty good picture of them using a crowbar to get in, and a pretty good picture, actually, of some of the people who broke in last night.
Today, Oakland Mayor Jean Quan led a tour through Oakland City Hall, showing where and how protesters broke in last night and the damage they left behind.
What justifies vandalizing a historic, beloved building that's a symbol of Oakland's resilience and history? Nothing, I think. Nothing does, and I think people are getting really angry.
Oakland Police say they arrested 400 protesters in all last night. In addition to City Hall, protesters targeted the downtown YMCA and vandalized Franco Gawa Plaza. Today, cleanup crews power washed off graffiti and cleaned up the plaza just a few yards away from where protesters began congregating. Today, some members of the Occupy movement say despite the marches and the clashes with police, they want the general public to focus on their core message about economic inequality.
The message is being formed with them in mind, and they should just come down and have their voices heard.
Members of the Occupy movement say they'll be holding a series of general assemblies to figure out what their next move is. Police tonight say they're ready if the protesters decide to march and occupy illegally.
We do have additional officers today. Mutual agencies have been notified, and we are prepared for additional problems if they should present themselves today.
Today, police showed off a collection of some of the items they confiscated last night, including a large barricade protesters used to block police beanbag rounds. Police say protesters lobbed rocks and bottles filled with human waste at them from behind that barricade. In Oakland, Christian Cafton, KTVU, Channel 2 News.
Many of the more than 400 people arrested were held for several hours overnight, and KTVU cameras were there today when some of those protesters were released from jail. These demonstrators were greeted with loud cheers as they walked out of Oakland's Glen E. Dyer detention facility. Some of those arrested say the rally was peaceful, but that things escalated when police began using flashbangs and tear gas.
I don't necessarily condone criminal behavior, but, I understand the reasoning behind it.
Mayor Jean Quan says that she now wants a court order to keep Occupy protesters who have been arrested several times out of Oakland. Those arrested last night face charges ranging from failing to disperse to assault. 3 journalists were also detained, one of whom was arrested. The police chief, though, says all 3 were released when officers became aware that they were members of the media.